Greg Nibbler, Fox 12 Oregon. World Quantum Day is on April 14th. And no, that is not the title of the latest Marvel movie. It's actually a celebration of quantum hardware and computing. Very real things. And the research and production for those is happening very close to us at Intel out in Hillsboro. So I sat down with Jim Clark, the director of quantum hardware for Intel, to talk all about everything associated with quantum hardware and computing, how it's going to change our future, and really, what is it?
Quantum computing, we use several principles of quantum mechanics. There are two in particular: superposition and entanglement. And we use this to basically have exponentially more compute power than a traditional computer that has transistors with electrons. And this exponential compute power will let us solve problems that even the largest supercomputers today will never be able to solve. So it really holds a lot of promise.
So if I'm looking at this from, just a layman's standpoint of, here's my laptop, here's what I can do right now, what would quantum computing allow me to do with that?
Quantum computing bears a lot of similarities to the first large mainframe computers. Quantum computers are going to be huge. They're going to be in the data center. You might access them through the cloud on your laptop, but they wouldn't compete with your laptop. On these quantum computers, you would run algorithms, cryptography algorithms, medicine, material science, finance algorithms that even the largest supercomputers wouldn't do a particularly good job at.
I like this concept of being able to run all these algorithms at once and perhaps solve more problems, as you mentioned with that, and even taking a look at the medical side of things that you just mentioned. So say with quantum computing, and we're going to get into when this actually happens, but what could quantum computing do, say, for medicine?
When you think about it, all molecules are based on the principles of quantum mechanics. And so Richard Feynman, who worked on the Manhattan Project, was a Caltech physicist, basically said all nature is quantum. And so if you had a quantum computer, you could study nature, simulate nature better than other means. What it would mean for the medical industry would be we could potentially design and test new drugs in simulation far better than we can do today. And this would reduce the costs and reduce the time to market when fighting some of the worst diseases or the worst problems of human health.
That's amazing, just in its own right. Just the fact that we could possibly do this with quantum computing. But let's take a divergence here and talk about where you're at right now. You're out there at Intel. I see a lot of cool things behind you. I don't know what that means, what they are, but talk to us a little bit about where you're at and what you're doing.
Yeah, cool things. Thanks. That's a good segue. I'm in the middle of Intel's Ronler Acre campus. This is where our quantum computing team is located. In this lab, in this tool behind me, what I do is I characterize 300 millimeter wafers. These are the wafers that are made in the D1 facility in Oregon. To understand how they function in the quantum regime, I have to operate at very cold temperatures. This tool behind me is 1.5 degrees above absolute zero. That's actually colder than deep space. Deep space is 2 degrees above absolute zero. And only at those temperatures can I really study the quantum nature of the devices that I fabricate here at Intel.
So if this goes on, and you were able to maybe mass produce these wafers, is that something that's going to have to happen everywhere? Will everybody need one of these cooler than space devices?
Yeah, that's a great question. If you think about it, at first you're going to have the governments, large universities, maybe pharmaceutical companies have one of these in their data center. That's probably where it will start. If you think about the very first mass-produced computers in the mid 70s, like the Cray supercomputers, what's hard to believe is now 50 years later, everybody has something many times more powerful in their back pocket. So it'll start in the universities and the government facilities and large companies, but who knows where it'll be in 50 years.
So we're talking about that 50 years from now. Where are we right now? So you mentioned out there at Intel, at your facility, you're manufacturing some of these. Talk to us about what it is that you're actually making.
Yeah, this is in the early stages of research. Every time you see an announcement from Intel with a new feature, it has probably taken 10 years or more to go through the R&D phases. So quantum computing today is early R&D phase, and we would expect systems capable of changing your life or mine in about 10 years, but it's not too early to start.
Yeah, it's got to start somewhere. And it sounds like, it's right here in Oregon out at the Intel facility. So tell us a little bit about that and what it means to be working in this area.
Yeah, so I mean, this is the epicenter of R&D for Intel for our transistor work, and we have a large fab out here called D1. It's amazing if you can if you've ever been inside of it, and I'm sure you'll have footage of it. And what we do is we partner very closely with them. We use their toolbox, we use their expertise to help make our quantum chips. And in fact, the way we go faster, our winning formula is to change as little as possible from a typical transistor process to a quantum bit process to make our devices. And so routinely, we take wafers that leave the fab. They are customized for our process. And then we put them in a tool like we have behind us. It's known as the cryoprober. And then we characterize them. And then we put them in another tool a couple doors down, which is 100th of a degree above absolute zero, so even colder. And that's where we do the quantum operations, the quantum computing.
So, Jim, what's a typical day for you out here with all of this amazing equipment and all of these, fun tools that you have? What do you do on a normal day? That may be a
Uh,
hard question to answer.
I work with a very talented team of people that I hired, but they all know more than me. Some of them are afraid to let me hold a wrench at this stage, but I assure you I was very good at that earlier on in my career. Typically, we start our day looking at what wafers have come out of the fab overnight, and then we characterize the wafers. We meet throughout the day, technical meetings to review data, to operate these pieces of equipment, and to make our plans for the next experiment. So this is really high-tech experimentation.
For everybody out there who's, for the general public, they're familiar with quantum mania or the quantum realm, quantum being thrown around like that. What would you want them to know about quantum computing?
Yeah, quantum mechanics is really the foundation which everything in our universe is based on. We just don't get to see it. Quantum mania was when they shrunk down in the movies, of course. So quantum mechanics are really the underlying principles for a lot of what we deal with. What I would want people to understand with quantum computing is this has the chance of being the compute technology for the next 100 years to solve problems that no computer today could ever solve. And to that extent, it's really exciting.
Well, it is definitely very exciting and really appreciate you taking some time here too to talk to us about all of this and what's going on out there for it to be happening right here in our backyard. I think that's fantastic too, what you have going out there. And Jim, anything else that you want to add for us?
World Quantum Day is Friday, April 14th. And so this is, some of you know, Pi Day 3.14 or March 14th, April 14th or 4.14. Those are the first three digits of Planck's constant. And so this is an opportunity for quantum physicists throughout the world to celebrate. And so this is an opportunity. You can find more about it at worldquantumday.org and how to engage.
How are you going to be celebrating?
In a few ways. One, I'm going to do a Twitter Q&A about Intel's quantum program. Two, I'm going to call into events that are through our quantum coordination office in the White House. I will probably watch a rerun of The Big Bang Theory. I don't know what one eats or drinks on World Quantum Day, so I'm asking my colleagues for suggestions.
We need some quantum cocktails. That's for sure.
Quantum cocktails. That sounds good. Uh, may not want to capture this, but there is a distillery in my hometown of Pittsburgh called Quantum Spirits. So that's probably a good thing to talk to them.
They have set themselves up perfectly for World Quantum Day. That's fantastic. Well, Jim, thank you very much. Really appreciate it, and looking forward to talking to you more here in the future too, just about everything that you have going on out there, and yeah, really appreciate it.
Welcome at any time.
Now, I did also ask Jim about the passing of Oregon Senate Bill 4, aka the CHIPS Act, and if that would have any effect on the quantum program. And he said, quote, any funding of Intel and semiconductors will also directly benefit our quantum program. I'm Greg Nibbler, Fox 12 Oregon.